replaced my Evolution table saw and chop saw, and I'm really pleased with it. So there she is, in all her glory. I'll have to tip it sideways to the camera, but yeah, I might do a review on that. I did reach out after I bought it because really chuffed with it. I love it, and I'll explain why. I love it over the other one, but I ain't got the old one anymore. I gave that away. Gave that to a chap 2 doors down. It was pretty knackered. And this camper build I want to do, I want a new saw. I want clean cuts. I don't want misalignments or any of the above. The saw's pretty knackered. Fell off the stand once, broke the motor clean off. I had to put some aluminium bridges across with rivets and silicons and glues and all sorts to get it to work again. So it's in its days, but anyway, I gave it to him. He's happy with it. I put brand new brushes in it for him, so you should see him through. So if he's building a shed, which I believe he is, I'll see him all through the project. But anyway, what I am now doing is I am now cutting the steel. I went down the yard today and got myself second-hand steel, 10 quid a length. Dead pleased with it. Very rusty. Nothing new with me, but we are called the Rusty Road to Greasy Gold for a reason. So I've cut 2 lengths out at 7 foot. I tried to do 8 foot, but that gave me, from the back wheels, a 5 foot overhang. That's too much. With the tailgate down, it gives me a 3 foot overhang, and I've given myself an extra foot, so I've gone 7 foot in total on the length, which is just about close to the limit. And bearing in mind there's rumours about pickup trucks snapping in half and all that lot. That's a lot of overhang on the back of that there chassis, isn't it? Okay, so the first frame, and it ain't great weld wise. I just couldn't be arsed with the rust. So I'm expecting this to fall apart, to be honest with you. Oh, there's just no room in that shed, and I'm worried stiff about complaints. So I'm trying to keep the grinding down to a minimum. Plus the fact my neighbour that side, lovely people, got a babe. I don't want to be waking that babe up. But anyway, so the next stage of this is I've got to make the tail frame. So I think we can take this off now, get all these bits of wood out, and cut 2 pieces that are wide enough. One piece that's got to go across the back and we weld it in, and then there's some uprights each side. Let me just stand further back. There'll be some uprights each side, and then there'll be another piece go along the top with some corner pieces on that as well. So if I was to sit there and screw that wood back down, take that off, I could actually make that separate and then put the frame back on the table after, once I've made this frame up, and weld that frame in place. And then the next bit of framing to do is up the back here, so there'll be another set of uprights going across and another one going across that way, and then we've just got to make some frames to go all the way around the outside, and then we have built the base frame. Well, so far everything is pretty square. Here's the back piece. I haven't given myself as much overhang as I actually had planned to do. The purpose of that is my roof rack. If you remember, I had those 2 arms that stuck out on the roof rack for the aerials, and I just can't be arsed messing around with those. I think in the form of extension. I mean, I think we'll be fine with that. I've measured to see what it's like for a double bed space, and there's more than enough room for a double bed in that gap. Right, I'll be brief because it's raining. Right, so the back frame is in and the wall sides are in. I've marked out where the overhang is on the tailgate, bearing in mind that I completely forgot that there's struts on the tailgate. Otherwise I could have had it here instead, so the wall could have come out here and I'd had all that extra space, but because of those epoxy struts, no can do. The only thing I can do is when I build this out to here and up is I can slope it if need be, which wouldn't be a bad idea because it'll add some aerodynamics to it as well when I'm going along, because this all sticks out over the edge. So yeah, so we just got 4 pieces of steel to weld in, 6 pieces to weld in, sorry, because I want to come across here. So over here is the night heater underneath, because we've got plumbing exhaust in. Over that side will be the toilet, So the locker will be over here, or it'll be on the side there. At some point we've got to cut that out and put a doorway in, and then the rest of it is just going to be cooker and sink space and seating. I'm going to try and keep this as basic as I possibly can. Now you're probably thinking, oh, that looks heavy. There's no weight there whatsoever. Light as a feather. It's probably the equivalent of its counterpart in wood. If I was to build that out of wood, it would probably be just the same weight. I can physically lift that up on my own. Not a problem. So, now with the jacks. Spoke about that, didn't we? Didn't know what we were going to do. I've got a smaller piece down there that fits inside those big tubes. So I am actually going to cut some of that small stuff. I'm going to weld it onto the end of that lug. Like so. Well, this was going to be officially the end of the video, but I kind of decided to get the jacks done as well, or as close to done as I can get. I'm not really sure how this is going, to be honest, because I put both of them on that end and I jacked it up, and it was the most unstable structure that could be. I mean, it swayed all over the place. I know they are naturally like that anyway, unless they're prefixed, and I'm not having these ones prefixed because the legs will be too close to the ground. So I was going to fix one of these to the height to down here, but what I think I will do is build another 2 more of that height, but I might actually have a bar come out here that clamps onto here, so it naturally moves up and down. So when you want to jack this thing up, you literally will have two points on the back at least. Okay, that's not going well. I think we're going to call a video. I'm going to have to come back to these jacks at some point because they're not working. Really not working. I've done these 2. I did another one over there. Didn't realise that thing. Don't ask me. Didn't realise that jack was made of alloy. Welded it all up. And then that distracted me when I was doing this one, and I went and welded the wrong bloody bar on. It should have been that one. Never mind. And then to top it all up anyway, the biggest issue I've got is when you jack it up, it just falls over. It's just not, it's not doing what it needs to do. So alas, I need to think this through a bit more. I know, skin, I can't do any more. These, as you know, ain't working. It's a new day, and these ain't working. So I've been sitting here thinking about this. What in hell's name can I do to get this thing to sit stable? And there's only one thing I can do, and that is hydraulics, but without the hydraulic power. If I use those jacks as the engines to move the piston of the ram in and out, that could work. Let me explain what I'm talking about. I have here, and I'm not using this because it's too heavy, lorry cab rams will be the best one because the walls of the metal on the actual sleeve, you poke my eyes out, is actually quite small. So what we've got is a ram. You've got the piston shaft here, you've got the outer case. If we cut the end of that off there, what you've got inside is you've got rubber and a nylon piston, and up here you've got a nylon sleeve up here. So as that goes in and out, that stops the rod from wobbling around, and that is what I need ideally at the moment. So if I take one of these like so and use this purely as the engine to move it, I can then physically weld onto that case and bolt that to the corner there at any height. Okay, the longer the better though. And then what I can do is I can have, because it'll be cut open, I can push the piston right up, almost out to be honest, and then I can put a linkage like a rose joint in, welded in or bolted in to the top, and then on here cut this back to there so it sits almost smack bang, and then I can have a rod that goes onto that pushes that down. So imagine that is all the way up here. That then pushes it all the way down to here, which then pushes this all the way out to here. This is going to be the one that's going to give you the strength. And if you don't want that ram slipping while you're wandering around, we could even go as far as attempting to drill a hole through here, so we can whack a pin in, which would actually potentially lock it down. And that is the best my thinking is going at the moment, without spending too much money. He wants 20 quid a ram. These are old knackered rams he's got in one of the sheds. They leak. I've already had one and converted it, and it leaks like you wouldn't believe. I don't need it to run on hydraulics. I just need it to go up and down and stay absolutely 100% stable. Unfortunately, these rams, whoa, they are a bit heavy, this one particularly, but the lorry cab ones are not that bad, and then that can go on there like that, and then that will hold that body up. In fact, if I really wanted to, and I was really clever, I could even go as far as putting a whole lot inside on the corner there, cut a hole out, box it off on the inside, and then have the thread with the nut. Sorry, I say the thread with the nut here, look at that. I could have a hole drilled in the side here or up here, and then I could put the drill in, and then I could just wind that down, and all you'll see on this when I'm driving along is a little bit of ram sticking out to wherever it's sticking out. If it doesn't reach the ground, what I can do, because on the rams also hole, I can actually have a sleeve go through there with a bolt for an extension if it came to it, or I could weld a bolt to the end, a large bolt like a 20mm bolt or something, and then wind on an extending leg with a lock nut or a connecting nut, and do that if it came to it. It's just a question really of getting enough clearance, so if we do find ourselves off road, that's not going to hinder on the back. So that's the best of my thinking goes at the moment. I've got £40 left, they're £20 each, I've got no fuel, so I can't get up the yard today, unfortunately. So that is it. Now I could go to B&Q. We fixed the truck, that throttle is now done, so I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, what to do next, I wonder. Good bloomin' question. I suppose we ought to get this here video uploaded. It's working out quite well. I'm reasonably pleased with the way this is going at the moment. So, right, you've seen the pictures, you've seen the plan, you know where we're heading. I think next Tuesday I've got to pay for some dental treatment on my first dental appointment, so I don't know how much money that will leave me after, but if we can, we'll get the sandblasting on this done, and we'll get some petrol in this, because I have been doing a little bit of tweaking on the carburetor. I haven't done the timing yet, because I think the timing was mainly the issue, but I've done some tweaking on the carb advice that was given, so we'll move back to this very briefly and see if we can't get this on tick over. Once I've got this running to the point where I can chuck it in gear, I'll get the gearbox filled up with oil. I'll check the brakes, make sure they're working the way they're meant to, and if they are, then try to clear this mess. And sadly, time to chop the trike up, because I did put it up for sale, nobody wanted it. It's got a cylinder head leak, so the engine needs stripping. 2.5 6-cylinder inline BMW engine in that will be coming out and going up for sale, because there's some value in that, and the rest of it's just going to get chopped up. But if you're watching and you're interested in it and you want to do an IVA test on it to make it legal, or more legal than I've had it, as what some people have been muttering, then feel free to contact me. I just kind of want it out of the way, and all I want from it is the value of the engine, nothing else. So that'll be the next thing to sort out. Right, moving on, see you later, bye bye.